All
Okay.
right. Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm so excited that you are here and you have registered for this exciting summit. Now, I love doing these virtual events because guess what? You get to watch from the comfort of your home. You get to be interactive in the chat, and you get the opportunity to meet some amazing women who are head hitters in their industry. So I have my girl, I call her T, y'all. I call her T. That's what I call her. Okay. She's going to be hopping on and she's going to be really giving you guys her spiel. I have some impactful questions to ask her. So without further ado, I always get that mixed up. How are you, T?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. And I just want to first say before we get started that I'm so excited that you're a part of this summit, definitely for what you do. And those of you who are watching, you're going to get to know in just a second. It's something that definitely everyone who's watching definitely needs, wants, and has to have. So first, let's get started. Let's introduce yourself to everyone. It's actually your first time doing my virtual summit, right?
Yes, it is. My very first time.
Mm-hmm. First and not the last, sis. Not the
Absolutely
last.
not. Yes. Absolutely not.
Yes. So go ahead, sis. Introduce yourself to everyone.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever we are. Okay. My name is Theresa Meyers, and I fancy myself as a personal financial education expert. I've done everything wrong, from debt to this, to that, to the other. And now I am in the space where I would like to help not just women of color, but women, period, of helping them understand how money really works. I've been doing this for a few years, 3-4 years now, but my professional background before I got to this was always in education, adult education, helping people learn to speak English as a second language, get their GED. So I just moved over to the money space because I kept running into the same problems with women. They're always telling me, one, they don't make enough money. Two, their salaries isn't comparable to what men make, even though they're doing the same job. They got tired of robbing Peter to pay Paul, on and on and on. You know the story. Okay. We got passed down those lessons, and the old adage is, when you know better, you do better.
That's right.
Well, I'm here to help people do better.
That's right.
Okay.
Amen.
That's
I'm
why.
glad
That's
that
my
here.
whole point. That's my whole
right.
point and purpose in being here. I'm not for everybody. Everybody's not my cup of tea. Okay. But for those that are, I am willing to be a personal financial education coach, help you get down with the money game and learn the lessons that the wealthy teach their children so that we can pass those same lessons on to our children.
That's right. That's right.
Develop a legacy of wealth.
Yes, you said such great points, about that legacy of wealth, about the fact that I love the fact that you come from like a teaching background, because of what you do. It takes a lot of patience because you're really like breaking a lot of generational poor habits, or lack of education that has been passed down from child to child. So I know definitely with this current era, your particular industry has exploded because so many people, when the pandemic hit, they realized that even the ones that did have that emergency fund, even the ones that did have money aside, didn't have enough, right? And the ones who didn't put anything at all aside, who was just living day by day, week by week, month by month, end up really feeling the effects that this, pandemic has became. So I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and I was saying, I can't imagine how much, this economic narrative, the negative side of it all, is really going to be passed down from generation to generation if we don't start to make that change now. So my first question for you is, how are you changing the economic narrative that has been passed down from each generation? Well, I'm sorry, to each generation, my bad.
It's no problem. It's an excellent question. Because basically, I just want to start with changing that mindset, Like I said, when you know better, you do better. We have to get away from that lottery mentality or that whole narrative of, get a good job, get a good education, get a good job, go to work for a corporation, and your life will be set. Well, the pandemic showed us that, that ain't going to keep working.
Mm-mm.
Okay. It's time to move on to another thing. And there's lots of women, lots of people, let's start there. Lots of
Mhm.
people who have been part of the great resignation.
That's
Right.
right.
They're leaving the corporate plantation as fast as they can. They want to do their own thing because the pandemic showed them that one, plants, you can't depend on somebody else to tell you to provide your income,
Mhm.
because not only are they providing your income, you're trading your time for money.
Mhm.
They tell you where you can live, what schools your kids can go to,
That's
when you
right.
can vacation,
Yeah.
and that's too much control. So you need to take control of your life. And
Mhm.
the best way to do that, you know how it is. He who has a goal makes the rules.
That's
You
right.
need to have your own goals
Mhm.
so you can make your own rules. All right. We need to move away from again, somebody controlling your life,
That's
where you
right.
live. So I'm thinking more in terms of strategically how to grow wealth.
Mhm.
And that's what I want to work on teaching the women. It's a mindset thing, because
Yes, it
it's not a
is.
one size fit all. Everybody has their own definition of what they feel is wealth.
That's right.
Okay. But strategically, the things, the tools that you need to get to wherever it is that you're going, those are the same.
Mhm.
They remain. So you have to change your mindset, how you think about money.
That's
It
right.
takes money to make money. Okay. And, I'm of the mind that you can have anything that you want, but you got to plan for it.
You have
If you're
to,
playing for
and
it, you can
yeah,
have it.
that's right. Well, what you do is like all of our for what you do, everything's unique. Everybody's
Mhm,
situation is different, right? So you
mhm,
have to, what you're doing is that you're redesigning and implementing and help women strategize in their own unique plan. And
yes.
that's one thing about the whole financial literacy and planning ahead and things like that, that sometimes people get stuck on, because if you're doing it alone, you're going on YouTube and you're coming up with a plan that somebody else, that's meant for somebody else. Their family design
Mhm,
is different. Their background is
yes.
different. All
Mhm,
these things. And it's also so many things that they don't say,
yes.
that you're
Mhm,
that you're totally unaware. And then when you get started with hitting the ground running with your own, building up your own wealth, your own financial portfolio, you get stuck because you don't have all the
mhm,
components, because you are different from everybody else. So, you know,
mhm.
why should women be more concerned with their day-to-day spending over their wealth?
Number one, we're all in a debt cycle.
Yeah.
Okay. Instant gratification mode. The
Mm-hmm.
banks, credit cards, they have us by the short and curlies.
That's
Okay.
right.
They have us in bondage. They don't tell you what it is. They encourage you to, you know, uh, use your credit card, and you're paying 18 to 24% interest if you don't pay it all off at once. But they don't tell you that. Here, go have what you want. You pay us later. Okay. The banks, on the other hand, are telling you put your money in here and it'll be safe, and we'll give you a 0.5%. Meanwhile, they're loaning it out to somebody else at 14%. Okay. They're making a grip on your money, but they're not passing it along to you. Okay. Um, you have to the day-to-day spending comes down to this. So many of us are being by who we are, defined about who we are and what we value based on, how much money we have or don't have. And if you're trying to keep up with, you know, everybody else because, it's fashionable, it's trendy. I'm not saying anything against that, but if you can't pay for it in cash, and not have a bill later, um, you can't live on spec. I'm just sorry. You just can't live on spec, because at some point or the other, you're going to have to pay the piper. Okay. Um, Cash will always be queen. We must learn to leverage our credit and money to our advantage. We learn the rules of the game. And the game is always changing. So if we learn the rules of the current game, we can use it to our advantage, change the rules to work for us to our advantage, and now we're in control.
That's right.
So again, it comes back down to being a mindset.
Mm-hmm.
If you shift the way that you think about money, money's a tool.
That's
It's
right.
not good, it's not bad, it's a
Mm-hmm.
tool to be
Mm-hmm.
used. Now, how you use it
It's up
determines,
to you.
the nature of it.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's so true. And I think that early on, especially if his children started to see it more that way. And I noticed that there's a lot of families, a lot of, educational places that do teach that. It's not a lot. I wish there were more, but it's
Mhm.
growing. And once we see that and understand that money is a tool, it's a bridge to, but if you don't use it right, you end up in a hole. If
Yes.
you use it correctly, that you're okay. And there's so many misconceptions about money and wealth and things like that. So having you helping so many women get in line, they're going to erase those limiting beliefs and erase those, negative or negative things attached to money. It's like, I
Mhm.
know that me personally in the business world, you know, sometimes we are frowned upon when we are buying a little bit extra or when we have the, those of us who have the means to do it. But
Mhm.
we sort of think there's a shame thing when it comes to money, and it shouldn't be. If money
No.
is a tool, and through that tool, you were able to support and take care of all of your children and their children's children, and
Mhm.
you're
Mhm.
also in turn supporting yourself, that's not a bad thing. It's just not
No.
a bad thing. So my next phase I want to get into this conversation is that now that we're in
Mhm.
a new financial era, all of us in
Mhm.
this, like you said, you mentioned how people are quitting their jobs. There's so many people that I personally know that are not working the regular 9 to 5 jobs. They're doing something on the side, they're doing something
Mhm.
contractual, things that they never ever thought in the past, just 2 years ago, that they could possibly do. Now they're opening those doors for themselves. It's not that the doors are opening, they're opening for themselves because those opportunities was always there, before
Mhm.
the pandemic has happened. So now that everybody's being or is woken up into this financial area, and there are so many uncertainties. With that said, what are some
Mhm.
common mistakes you're seeing women make with their money right now?
Not being proactive enough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's always going to be what they call inflation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, I
Demands
will. Yeah. I like that.
demands up,
Yeah.
supplies down. So,
Yeah.
the cost of everything goes up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you just have to be proactive when it comes to that.
Yeah.
We spend too much time on instant gratification
Yep.
without forethought. Now, we're busy creating businesses, making money. Um, what the goal is to keep
Mm-hmm.
as much of it as you make for yourself and your
Mm-hmm.
family, not
Mm-hmm.
giving it away to Uncle Sam.
Yep. Yep.
He gets he's going to get his cut, but you don't have to give him as much as everybody has
Exactly.
thinking, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And in all of our getting, we have to, think like corporations do,
Right.
but on a personal level.
Right.
There's a reason why Bezos and Elon Musk and all of the big boys don't pay any taxes.
Mm-hmm. Big
Okay,
reason.
they
Mm-hmm.
making big, what I call Mongo money, and but they're not paying any taxes on it.
Right.
Meanwhile, the
Right.
people who are, the Leo and the Helmsley people, she has a quote, only the little people pay taxes, right?
Mm.
Well, we're the little people. We don't have to, we have to pay our taxes and we
Right.
pay our fair share, but at this point in the game, we're paying more than we should be,
Mm-hmm. Amen.
and we have to worry about our future self. So I'm starting a new movement. It's
Yes.
called
Ooh.
Fire Me.
Oh,
Fire
I
Me.
love that.
Okay. It stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early, My Exit Strategy. Okay.
Wow.
Fire Me.
Y'all heard it here first.
So that's what
Yes.
I'm talking about. You have to think strategically, you have to think long term,
Right.
take care of all of those expenses. Get that money that you're busy creating and making for yourself with your
Right.
entrepreneurial thing, make
Uh-huh.
it go to work for you. You work hard for the money. Now you make it work even harder for
That's
you.
right. That's right. I feel like there's so many women wanting to rush. Girl,
Yeah.
take your time, plan. And God works
Mhm.
on that with me too. I think even with finances and things like that, I think it's a spiritual thing as well, where when God would be like, listen, I want you to just focus on staying over here and building on
Mhm.
that, and then,
Yeah.
pivot over here. And I think when we are spreading things across, especially
Mhm.
financially, well, I'm going to buy a
Mhm.
car, I'm going to buy another house, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy, it's like you're going to notice that there's going to be a deficit eventually.
Uh-huh.
But again, it goes back into what you was sort of alluding to, which is keeping up with the Joneses. You see it all going on social media, you see it going on in your neighborhood, but you got to ask yourself, well, what is God's plan for me? How does he
Yes.
want me to spend my money? How does he want
Yes.
me to invest? Who does he want me to connect to? Guys, it's not coincidental that T is sitting here in front of you guys right now. You know, this is all
Mhm.
spiritual bound stuff. So you guys definitely got to make sure you connect with her and reach out to her so you can get things going with yourself. So with that said, please let
Mhm.
everybody know what your presentation is going to be about. It's going to be coming up very soon. So go ahead, let everybody know what's
Yeah.
going to be about, sis.
And see, this is the funny part is we could talk for hours and my presentation could be everywhere, but I'm going to concentrate for the moment on building your financial house. Okay. From the ground up, you start with a foundation, you put all of the walls up, you put a roof on it, and then you start filling it with this, that, and the other to make it comfortable. But you have to build a financial house on a solid foundation. Um, Getting your personal wants, needs, and goals all in place and a plan to get to there, to have them all um, realized. Okay. And in order for you to build that house, you have to have some money to fund that house and the building of it. So the ultimate goal, again, is financial independence, knowing how much money you're going to need when you finally decide to make work optional. And that's what Fire Me is all about, making work optional and still live a life of abundance um, and on your terms. So that's what my presentation is going to be about. It's a little, it's not quite interactive, but it's animated. You know, I'm going to be
Yes.
asking some tough questions. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
quiz at the end. So if you
Oh,
can
that's
answer,
exciting.
yeah, if you can answer
Yes.
if you answer the certain questions and there's no right or wrong, you know, but there is a quiz at the end of the presentation.
I love that. And this is what I've been telling you guys all week who's registered. This is not some cookie cutter type of summit. You know, you're going to be taking action on what he is going to be implementing and assigning to you guys. So I love that you have a quiz, girl. I think that is dope. Okay. And we can't wait to see your presentation go live. So thank you so much for being a part of this summit, part of this movement. Yes. And I
Yes.
definitely hope to see you on my next summit. And guys, make sure you guys check your emails and make so that you know when her presentation goes live. And I'll see you guys over there. Bye, y'all.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime, sis. Anytime. Bye, guys.